From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz. There's a need for nurses in our state. So in light of that, a huge donation is coming to one Montana college. We're going to get to that story in a minute. But first, at-home COVID testing could soon be more affordable. Here's today's leading look. $70 million from the American Rescue Plan will go toward helping test makers get through that regulatory process to make tests less expensive. The FDA also just granted emergency use authorization to another over-the-counter test, which means there are 10 different tests now available. Greenhouse gas levels are reaching new record highs, and scientists say that greenhouse gas concentrations are in the atmosphere where it peaked in 2020. There was a temporary decline in new emissions during the pandemic, but not enough to make an impact. And officials say emissions continue to rise. We will start to see more extreme weather, intense heat and rain, melting ice and rising sea levels. So world leaders will meet in Scotland for the next UN Climate Change Summit next week. Updated numbers from the FBI show an increase in hate crimes in the United States with more than 8,000 reported last year. That's up 13%. Hate crimes against African Americans rose by 46%, and attacks targeting Asian Americans soared some 73%. Also happening there, being wrongly blamed during the pandemic. In Billings, if voters approve recreational marijuana businesses in city limits, the 1,000-foot rule will be enforced. That's the distance between a shop and any church or park or school. The city council voted to approve that, and the commission also recommends businesses be allowed in multiple parts of towns. This is dependent, though, on whether Billings voters will allow dispensaries inside city limits on that November 2nd ballot. And police continue to investigate what led to a shooting at a Boise mall that killed two, and injured 4. Among the injured is a police officer who was one of the first responders at that scene. Investigators say the gunman was taken into custody after the shooting. He was hospitalized and is in critical condition. That's today's leading look.
Well, it is cooler across the region today as we are in the wake of a cold front. Take a look at those projected highs, mainly in the 40s and 50s. West Yellowstone may not get out of the 30s. We do have some rain off to our east and some snow, at least in the higher elevations, off to our west. There is the front that's causing it all, pushing off to our east. But you'll notice up there in the northwest, we do have another blast of energy heading our way. This will bring us a chance of very strong winds tomorrow. You can see we'll have those warnings and watches in effect for a good portion of the state. If you have a high-profile vehicle, you want to keep that in mind if you're out and about tomorrow. We will take a look at that and the possibility of maybe some snow and lower elevations coming up with the main forecast here in just a bit.
Montana Tech got a large and historic donation that's going to help their nursing department and their simulation lab and keep their #1 status in the state. Montana Tech's nursing department received such a large donation that the figure nearly got stuck in Chancellor Les Cook's throat.
The largest in the history of Montana Technological University of $7 million to our nursing program.
Dave and Sherry Lazar made a donation that will expand staffing in the nursing department and help in the development of a new nursing simulation lab that's being named after the couple. Sherry Lazar said she wants to help Montanans receive the best health care and that she comes from a family of medical professionals.
Nursing is not only a profession, it's a calling. Good nurses don't become good by accident.
For 2 nursing students, nursing runs in the family. One's great-grandmother served as a nurse in World War II.
I'm thinking about going into the Navy after I graduate just to take care of veterans and take care of active duty members, just because they gave so much freedom to me just by fighting for our country that I'll do anything I can to try and give that back to them.
Mackenzie's grandmother also worked as a nurse, and her grandmother will get to see her graduate.
And now to see me graduate in the spring and be able to carry on carry on her footsteps and be able to help people just like she did. I think it'll be very emotional for both of us.
Take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. Okay, it's a lot more complex than that, but that's the good thing about these simulation labs is it gives these nursing students something to work with so that they're prepared when they go into the real world.
You can watch what your classmates are doing and what you're doing so that you can learn from past experiences without risking a life and be able to care for the baby better each time you do it.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.